Okay. Saturday evening, 7:31. This is Larry Fulmer. Terra Questions and Answers. If you can ask something about Terra, I'll give you the answer, or I'll find the answer and get back with you. Or maybe one of the Terrans will come in and give me the way I communicate and give me the answer that you seek. I may have to call them. Actually, call them. So that's what that's about. All you got to do is watch the video and ask me in chat, and I'll tell you what I can. This morning I went and got the oil changed in my wife's truck. We went to Columbia and picked up a handgun I ordered because I wanted another handgun. Then we come home, ate, and took a nap. My day has been happy for a change. Spending time with the wife, that always helps. I've posted about this drone shit. If you don't want to listen, you don't want to take the words, that's your problem, not mine. I don't really have anything to do with people's willful ignorance, you know what I mean? I can't drink through a straw right now because I had a tooth pulled yesterday. Oh, hell. Don't do that. But I had to. So that's what that is. So this is your time. Give me some questions. Give me some questions. I put it in my last video. I don't know if y'all caught it or not. I was told last night when I was not on a video or anything. Okay, 9 cents. Cool. Okay, I was told yesterday afternoon late. They've been having some trouble contacting me because of my pain medication the last couple of days to do with this tooth, but couldn't think straight, when you all drugged up from that shit. Anyhow, I was told in detail that Inner Terra, the plan is timed in such a manner that the day the world sees them on the surface will be 2 million years to the day that they sealed all entrances to Inner Terra. 2 million years to the day. And they're expecting that to happen very soon now. I mean, it's already underway. They're doing things. People are seeing things. You're going to see some more things. Get used to it because it's going to happen. It doesn't matter if you agree, disagree, want them shot down. Don't shoot any drone that you don't know and understand. They may fire back and you will be nothing anymore. That's as point blank as I can tell you. They will fire back with an option 1 and you will be gone. If it's the military, they will be gone and they know it. The government knows. They've known for 80 years. They were reminded 40 years ago because they did nothing. So about a year ago, when I left, it was started about a year ago, but 10 months ago, I needed a break. Things were going on. I needed a fucking break. I took a break for 10 months. While I was gone, they formed a committee 12 months before. But while I was gone, this committee down there decided They were not going to be considerate of Inner Terra because it had increased its negativity. The surface of Terra, I mean, had increased its negativity. And if you don't know and understand that, I don't even want to hear your questions. They decided we've been ostracized for damn near 2 million years. We've not been a part of all 4 levels of Inner Terra, including our own, really, because we're not in control. We never have been in control since 14,024 years ago. Humans lost control. Those that think they're in control now, you're not in control of shit. You are unauthorized by Terra. You will not keep control, and there's no way you're going to keep control. You won't be allowed to keep control, and some of you will be terminated because you have violated so many times over with your negativity. You don't have to be a politician. You can just make wrong choices. If you are negative, you will be, if you don't suffer because of the collapse of the surface that must take place, it must take place. The governments and corporations and religions and other negative organizations will be gone one way or another. And it's not going to be pleasant. It's not going to be free of suffering for those that are not gone either, as these systems break down until they reinstall the energy grid, restore the energy grid of the Terran world. They can't truly come to the surface and stay. It can get started, but until it reaches a certain point, they cannot come to the surface and stay and walk among you. Your negativity will already be in decline before they come. You can take that. You can count on that like you can the sun's going to rise. That's how you can count on it. This is going to happen. I don't care if you like it, don't like it, fuss about it, rant and rave, carry on, whatever. It doesn't matter what you do. It just doesn't matter what you do or what you think because you don't even think properly. I don't care what your status level is, what your wealth is, your job is, what education you think you have. If you don't know about Terra, you don't know something that is of most importance right now on this planet. The most important thing on this planet. You're going to come to learn it, and you're going to learn a whole new world is facing you. It doesn't matter what you know, what you think, what you believe. None of that matters. Not anymore. It's going to be such an upheaval and then come down to something that is so serene and so much better. I don't know what to tell y'all. So I keep reminding, I keep making a new video, hoping I catch somebody and give them something to think about. If you look in the description where I say this time is yours to add. Yes, they're called the gifted ones in Inner Terra. There are a select number of the gifted ones that are trying to contact surface humans by whatever they feel is acceptable to that individual. You could appear as anything. Okay? Some of you people are calling them angels. Some of you are calling them extraterrestrials. I'm telling you, they're all Inner Terrans. If you remember at the beginning of all my videos, some of the Inner Terrans were extraterrestrials way back before the 2 million year ago period when they were all living on the surface, and some had to go below because of the Anunnaki coming into our solar system and destroying the 10 sun and etc. So they were devising Inner Terra and developing it into being their home, self-sufficient, all-sustaining, everlasting home in Inner Terra. The Anunnaki never could get there. They never did get there. With the 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 density vibration levels and densities of Inner Terra, it kills negativity. If you go down there and get too close to them, if you're not acceptable as a positive being, you won't make it. You just won't make it that far down either. Because it's not something that you can walk into and walk down and walk back out of in a day's time or 5 days in some places. You couldn't get there and get back out. And I know some people go down there and stay for weeks, but they don't go deep enough to find Inner Terra. Trust me, you don't go deep enough. Remote viewing isn't the same thing, not by a long shot. Remote viewing is nothing like what we're talking about here. And most remote viewers know absolutely squat about Inner Terra. I haven't seen one yet credible enough to say they know something. I haven't seen a remote viewer that can tell me anything about Inner Terra. And they damn sure can't tell me about the council chambers. And if they can't do that, they can't see anything. Every Inner Terran knows about the council chambers. The council chambers. And you got these people talking about Galactic Federation of Light, Galactic Federation of Worlds, all this other rigmarole shit, Palladian Council or Command Ashtar, all that shit. It's all negative stories. Most of it's not even real. They're stories from a popular person and have been taken off by others that want to charge you money. If you have to pay money, that's your first glimpse. It's bullshit. Oh, yeah. You can't tunnel that far down. Now, there are surface colonies, and you can't tap into a surface colony and say, oh, this is part of the Agatha and the Admiral Perry bullshit. That's not so. I don't really know what the hell he said he saw, unless he tapped into a colony that shouldn't have happened, because if you're not positive enough, they don't take you down anyway. And if you go down, you never come back. That's the way it's been up to now. You go down, if you're positive enough to go down, you don't never come back. Not to the surface. So some of these people that saying they see this, they talk this, they know that, they do that, you don't know a fucking thing. I hate it. I'm sitting here making videos and calling out these people and saying you're liars. You want subscribers and Patreon members and pay for my videos and pay to watch these videos special and this, that, and the other fucking thing. You're a liar. Why they don't see your predatory nature, I don't know. I see it plain as day. I'm disabled and need money. I would love to have somebody say, oh, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars a month. I'm like, okay, what you want me to talk about? I'm not predatory like that. I'm not going to do that. And to hell with those individuals. You'll hear what I want to talk about. And if I don't deem it's worthy for me to talk about it and let somebody know something, I'm not going to do it. If somebody asks a question I can't answer, I'm not going to answer it. As simple as that. I'll only answer what I can answer. That makes sense, you know? I'm not going to tell you you can get there if you go somewhere and go down a certain way, and if you think a certain way, and if you do this and that and the other thing. No, that's not how it works. You know, that's just not how it works. As far as military in the ground, they're not even deep enough to be called subsurface. They're not deep enough to be called subsurface. And there are some subsurface colonies that have ground access. But you're only going to know about it if they want you to know about it. And why they would let you come back to the surface and charge and spew your negativity and your predatory nature, I don't know. So it makes me think it's all fake. All of that's fake. Because why would you charge to help your fellow man trying to function in this negative society? That's not a good enough answer. Inner Terra will not accept that as an answer. I can tell you that right now. And I know in detail what they will and will not accept that the surface is doing. Because I've been asked questions by them. Do you think that's a good thing? Well, no, that's not a good thing. I've been asked questions like that. They wanted to see how I looked at it. It's not a good thing. Yes. Yes. But it's not a natural event necessarily. It's an event of mankind. When this surface collapse, there's going to be such a loss and suffering that you can't imagine. You can't imagine it. It's going to be horrible. The amount of negativity in our population is going to be horrible. We can't save the surface from what's coming. I thought I would try to do that and be, I was at one time I was supposed to have been the representative for the entire surface. That was not really the situation that I was brought there for. That's what I was told at the time because that's what I thought. I think they tell you what they think you can handle. And I couldn't even handle that. I didn't want to know that negatives would die from positives. I just didn't want to know it. And I did everything I could think of. And the other people I was talking to at the time, we were coming up with all kinds of things. What about this? What about that? And it got to the point they didn't give a shit. They're going to fix everything. They're going to take care of everything in their own sweet, damn good way. There's things they're going to do first that have nothing to do with surface humans except telling you to move out of the way. I advise you to move out of the way quickly. If they give you 24 hours, I think you better take 4 or 5, maybe 6, and then get the hell out of the way. That's what I would say. Because you don't know when they're going to get there. And it's to clean it to bare ground. You won't have whatever is there that they tell you to get away from won't be there in 24 hours. If they tell you that, if somebody relays that message to you, I suggest you do it sooner than they tell you. Because if you wait too long, you may get caught up in the beginnings of clearing whatever it is along these ley lines, and their version of grid lines may not match ours, so don't go by that either. Mainly the ley lines and any cross points of any grid lines. Their grid lines, not necessarily ours. That's important. Don't look at a map and think you're going to know. A map of grid lines to surface humans now may or may not be the same. No. And there ain't going to be no 3 nights of down darkness unless it's something the government does. Maybe they won't be here that long. You can't raise your vibration on the surface as long as there are negatives on the surface. It's good if you're positive, but you can't raise your you can raise your vibration all you want, but it won't raise your density. And that is the important thing. If you can't raise your density because of the negativity, you're not really getting anywhere but being more positive. That's what surface people as a whole don't understand. What is positivity and what is negative? I can't explain it to you because it's so vastly different from anything you're going to think of. Trust me, I know. Some people say, well, you're negative. You talk in a bad manner. You're not very kind. You're not empathic. Yes, the fuck I am. What I'm not empathic about is being concerned about everybody who may or may not be negative. And such a majority of negativity on the surface, let me tell you, they're already got the counts up somewhere around 85 to 95% of the surface may not make it. We're talking billions of people here. And we're talking 85% is a low value. That's the low value estimate. You can have all these spiritualities as you want. They're individual. What works for one won't work for another to find your higher self. But if you can't find that, you're not even very spiritual. If your higher self can't relate to you what's coming, you're not in contact with it. Talk about phoenixes like you did, and some people are talking about their galactic brothers, their star seeds. Star seeds was ruled negative by the council on December 9th, by the way. It got brought up not by me, in council. We talked about it, discussed it for a few minutes, and then we held a vote because everybody was ready to vote. I could tell. And they voted negative. So starseeds, if you're out there, you're in trouble. You're in a human body. If you are a starseed in a human body and claiming you're a starseed, hence negative because you're a negative galactic starseed, you're in trouble. You're flat out in trouble. Doesn't make a damn. You're in trouble. If you are a human and you're not of a human soul, you can have a past life as soul, but if your present is a starseed, then you don't have a human soul. You have a starseed soul in a human incarnated body. That is negative. You had no permission of such. And they've been trying to get rid of galactics on the surface of this planet and upstairs for over 100 years. So the last few decades, 30, 40 decades, they've been talking about starseeds on the surface. A negative. I mean, they've been talking about it, yes, but it's negative. It's not positive. It hasn't brought us any positivity to the culture of humanity on the surface, now has it? I have seen no improvement from people associated with people that say they're starseeds. The followers of those people are oftentimes very negative and very negative supporting these popular people. And y'all know what I'm talking about. If you look, if you just open your eyes and say something's not right going on in the world, let me see, you'll see it. You will see it. Just like there's no white hats, there's no government good guys, there's no organization of good guys that's going to fix everything. They're negative too. If they even exist. I don't think they exist personally. I haven't seen one fucking bit of proof out in the open of anything I would consider a white-hatted guy. Of course, they may not want to be looking my way because that means their time is done. If they did exist, their time is done. We don't want this government. We don't want this government run by somebody else. Terra's not going to have it. It's not authorized by Terra. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. And even if you manage to get it controlled by what you think is a good guy, it's not acceptable to Terra. It's not an establishment formed of councils that have to be approved, and you have not reached even being integrated and accepted into the intelligent community of species on this planet by Terra. You're not even listed. If you was listed, you would know about councils. You would know about the Inner Terra. You would know everything without having to watch a video from me. Surface humans are not even counted. They are the third level out of 4, and they're ostracized right now. You can't join the Terra in anything if you wanted to. There's no way. You'd have to be rated by them that were willing to come to the surface if they could, because it cost them lives. It took 4 to come see about me, and those 4 died. All 4 died. So you think they're going to risk it for just, they had their reasons at the time to risk that to come get me or meet me or, I can't talk about some things. But just let it know. They're not going to risk any Terran lives to come and assist negative humans. They don't even count us as intelligent enough to be accepted into the Terran levels of intelligent beings in the council. I still ask, why am I here? I still ask. And they come to me for asking questions about things concerning us. Plus the bequeathment ceremony from Drishun and Meishun that put me as a council leader who was chosen. And they don't elect council leaders. They're chosen by the current council leader. They may not even be born. They don't know about them until they're born. It took them over 50 years to find out that I was on the surface. It took them 50 years of our time to find me on the surface. I was over 50 years old. So when did Drishun know? I don't know. But Lakma has told me that her and Drishun scanned the surface to find me. Drishun was a grandfather, by the way, if you didn't know that. If you don't remember that from all the videos. Drishun and Meishun was actually grandmothers and grandfathers that crossed right after the bequeathment ceremony, and which was the wildest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I wouldn't be unhappy if I never saw such a thing ever again. But all 9 they were a species of 9 that came here. Yes. How do you think I feel? And all the things that I've gone through, and why 10 months ago I had to walk away from my own sanity, I thought. I just needed a fucking break. You can't get rid of the negativity in a person and they continue to exist. If you have that much negativity, you can't continue to exist when they're trying to come back to the surface. And they have a right to come back. I don't know why it's taken them so long. If they hadn't waited so awful long, in my opinion, things would never be so bad on the surface. They should have fought the Anunnaki instead of sit back. Their technology was superior. I don't know why they did what they did. They fought them over a year ago and defeated their asses and went out into the galactic to find the homeworlds. Why we are considered as I know a part of why we are considered as some sort of less than. Our ancestors, if you forget everything that you know, our ancestors were original humans. They were 5D. When they went to Inner Terra, they were 5D. You need to understand what that means, the density. It's not the frequency and the vibration. It's the densities. The dimensions is 5D. The density is 5D. An Anunnaki could not defeat a human. The only reason the Anunnaki defeated us from when they came here 450,000 years ago to our planet was because they caused a global disaster. They pushed a remnant of Maldek, the largest asteroid there was of Maldek, They pushed it into a path that would coincide with Terra. 14,024 years ago. When they destroyed the Atlantis and other city-states of the surface, was the end of any sort of real intelligence on our surface. We have been mutating into various colors and skin and hair and eyes and shit for almost 2 million years. Now that I know when the date is more or less coming, there is a plan for us. But you have to survive the suffering time. You have to be prepared to survive when everything around you is collapsing. I've been saying it. All of my videos on my channel is all about what's coming. All of it. The preparedness videos, all of it. When the society collapses and you don't have access to stores and shit, and you're not prepared, your suffering is exponentially higher. You must prepare. You must. If you sit here and live day to day or week to week, you're not going to make it when things collapse. It's not about the next president. It's not about our government. It's called a state of the world is going to collapse. And when it does, you're going to have to grow your own food. You're going to have everything you need. And if you live in some multi-story building, you're in deep shit. Where are you going to garden enough food for you and your family if you have one when you live in some high-rise apartment building or something and all you got is a balcony that you can grow in? Maybe if you figure out how to power yourself in your apartment and you stay in the city, why, I don't know, because everything in the city is going to be fucked. Think about it. With no power, no water. The sewers start backing up the pipes up into the building. Why in the fuck are you thinking you going to stay wherever you're living in that home? The pumps will shut down when the power shuts down. There goes your water and sewer right there. Those buildings will become unlivable in time. Then you have diseases and infections coming. The period of suffering until Terra gets up here and can do something for us about us could be years before they're actually able to help much of anybody. Could be years. I'm not going to lie about it. That's why you must prepare. You sit on your hands and say, I'm just going to live and see how it goes. You're not going to make it very long at all. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. There's nothing can be done about it. If you think it's bad, what's coming, compare it to what's going up around in the mountain regions where they had hell and hit and no government support. FEMA's not doing a fucking thing. People are living in tents up there when it's as cold as it is in the mountains right now. They don't know where they're going to eat next. They're saying fuck the state government and they're closing schools and telling kids to bring your parents to school with you and stay. We'll staff it during the day like we would a school, but at night you're on your own. Because we can't pay for that. We can't cover that. It's fucking bad, people, and it's already started. That was a government-controlled hurricane event. You should know it. They've been saying they control the weather since the 1940s. What do you think they're able to do after 80 years of technology that you know nothing about? Most people know nothing about these released documents because they don't take the time to go look at every one of them and find out what's in it that's hidden. Hidden because you didn't pay attention. And don't say, well, they blacked out. There is an app for that. They ain't blacking out shit if you want to know what's on it. If you are willing to take the time, and usually those you can cover a document in an hour or so. Usually you can. A release document, you can probably cover one document in an hour. Don't make a damn how big it is. It's called having the ability to download a document and then search it. Keywords and phrases that you become acquainted with over time that they use. It's not difficult. Why would you allow yourself to have your last days during the suffering times? It's a choice. It is a choice. And nobody wants you to suffer, or they wouldn't be having me up here telling you about it. They tell me to be quiet. But I have no way to get on everybody's phone and everybody's TV and everybody's device. I'm not equipped for that, and they can't help me on that right now. They got bigger fish to fry, in other words. We've been over this whole, what about the people? The surface people are not in their concern, their direct concern, in their first cause, their first interest. We're not even in the top 10 bullet on their plan. We're not in the top 10 bullets on their plan for reintegration of the surface to Terra. Surface humans are not in the top 10 plan. I'll tell you that right now. I can tell you what's in the first of it, though. Collapse of the global surface civilization. That is the first. So how you do it from there till you come up again in their topics of interest, whoa, I don't know. You best be able to take care of yourself and your family, because family has top concern in Terran law. Your duties and responsibilities, if you are going to call yourself a married couple up here and you have kids, that's your first concern, not your job, not your employer, not your government. You and your family unit, which they call a team. And it may be a male and a female. It may be one of the one and many of the other. It doesn't matter down there. So it doesn't matter up here anymore either. You can say it does, but it doesn't make a fuck. It just doesn't. They may be completely some other gender that some other species have that we don't have. But they don't much do interspecies relations. It's kind of forbidden. It's kind of like a taboo like we would have, because I can't go into that right now. I can't go into that right now. Somebody's here. Somebody's here. Hello? Somebody's here. Just now somebody got here. They're not speaking, or I can't hear them. But I can feel them. Somebody's here listening. You can live to the fullest and still prepare. But can you prepare enough if you haven't started yet? When I say this could take years, I'm not kidding. You can't save up food for years. You can't buy up enough food for years. You're going to have to be ready to grow your shit. You're going to have to think, how are you going to do that? Are you going to do it in water? Are you going to do it in some kind of soil? How are you going to grow your own food? If you can't get like one little can of basic heirloom seeds or something, one of these little cans, then plan on growing everything wherever you live and harvesting the seeds of a quarter of what you produce for the next year. I don't know how you're going to make it. I have no idea how you're going to make it. How are you going to make it if you are up north right now in those territories and these fires that are happening and the droughts and shit that are caused by your government? They really care for you, don't they? They'll say, well, some arsonist started this. Wasn't no damn arsonist. Forest fires do not melt cars. Forest fires do not hit one home and skip one and then hit every other home on the street. That's called a government DEW weapon. Direct energy weapon, DEW weapon. That's what happened in Hawaii last year. Remember that shit? Because the surface really forgets all these things not long after they happen. They tend to forget them. They don't want to talk about them and think about it. Long-term effects and shit. They don't want to deal with that. We want to live and be happy today. Well, okay, but tomorrow you may be the one that gets fucked, and nobody's going to care about you for very long either. Because look what you're doing now. And you don't prepare, and you don't have secondary places. I'm kind of tricking that one with secondary places. Okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. Secondary places. You store all your shit in your home, right? Your home gets destroyed, so does everything that you stored. A secondary place is you have some kind of backup. You have something there somewhere. Maybe it's in the ground. I don't know. In the Army, they call that, in the military, they call that you have a cache of supplies buried in the ground somewhere that you know where it is and how to get to it. And you hope nobody ever finds it or sees you putting it there. A cache of supplies. See, if everything's in your home and the government does a direct energy weapon or has an off-the-scale hurricane come to your area and you have bodies up in the fucking trees and shit, like they do up there just above Asheville, North Carolina right now, 2 months after the damn hurricane, there's bodies up in the trees. Nobody's even attempted to go up there and get them. You psych-ass sorry people with your governments and your local governments and your militias that run their mouth and do absolutely nothing to stop those people from stopping people that helping even the dead. There's a warehouse on the north side of Asheville, which wasn't even the center of all this shit. A refrigeration and food manufacturer. It still holds bodies in freezers for food that haven't even been identified because they don't know where they come from. From the winds depositing bodies. That's not a normal hurricane. Maybe a tornado, but not these vast numbers. In that one facility, there is 468 bodies, and not a damn one of them is a child. Not a damn one of them is a child. Where are the children? Where are the children? Some people say they found children. Other people say they can't find any children. Where are the damn children? I don't know the answer to that question, but I know the government all too well. If you don't think just hit the home feed of YouTube and look at what people are saying concerning Hurricane Helen, and it's after 2 months. They're not even wanting people in shelters anymore. They're putting them out. That's why I said the kids went to school and couldn't learn nothing, couldn't pay attention, upset and traumatized. They shut the teaching side of the school down and told you to bring your parents to school with you because they're living under a tarp or a tent because the shelters are shutting down because it's been 2 damn months. You don't think they're going to do anything for you when the government collapses? Who's going to do it for you? Nobody. Charities being given donations in cash and checks and online. And they're getting found out that they're just keeping all that kind of money. They're not doing anything with it for the people up there that are hurting. Where was the Red Cross? Not a word mentioned of the Red Cross. And none of this hurricane shit up there. Where was the Salvation Army at? Nowhere. Where is the Habitat for Humanity up there? Where is it? Where are people online saying this is Habitat for Humanity, building a home somewhere for somebody? You don't hear about it. These charities are not doing a fucking thing about these disasters anymore. Only the little things like a home fire where they come out and help somebody. The little shit, see? What are they going to do in a government collapse that spans the entire country? Well, hell, they're going to close up because they can't get donations anymore. Where are they going to get donations if there's no money? The first thing that's probably going to happen is an economic collapse. Then the government's going to flounder because they don't even have the funds to bring the troops home from overseas. They want to send more troops overseas to fight in countries we shouldn't even know about at this point in time because it's so bad here at home. Think about it. When your government is telling you about Syria or some fucking body, what are they doing here at home? Not a goddamn thing. Fuck them people. I don't care which party they are. I don't care how long they've been there. Are they brand new? I don't care. Government corrupts individuals because we are a negative society. It's easy to understand if you just step outside of it a minute and look around. You learn that everything that you know about is some form of negative. Oh, it seems positive. It's helping. Look what it's doing over yonder. But what is it really doing? How many paid employees does it take to do a charity? How many? It's not about karma. A negative doesn't care about karma. If they did, if a negative cared about karma and knew what could happen, no sane individual would do such things. But that speaks again to negativity. And if you're looking at it politically or religiously, it's all consuming of those people. You can't be either one of those things. You can't be a corporate employee and support what the corporation is doing and the predation happening, even of the workers being preyed upon by not giving something or ways that they can live on. I don't care if they paid you $20 an hour right now as a minimum wage, you couldn't survive on $20 an hour in this society. Yes, there's a I didn't even see that. There is a repercussion for negatives with their soul. Okay, you can need to start there. That gets into a whole nother long ass topic of souls. Forget religion, souls. Souls are connected to Source. Source has a section of Source on Terra and every other celestial body that has life. Each source of each celestial body decides and determines what kind of life is indigenous to this celestial body. They may have a Pleiadian on it. That's what this source makes. Original humans on Terra. Aldebaran had the Jedi. Jadaii, Jedi. Sirius B has the blue Syrian. Some awesome, nice people I have met. Blue Syrians. But a planet source can also make a negative being. The Anunnakis, the Draconian Sicars, the Greys, and several others that I know about. And then you have a source of a terrestrial body that allows, I say, somebody from another planet to come to that planet and allows its own indigenous people to become subservient to another planet, another source's beings. I'm just saying something just now that y'all really need to consider. Why Terra wants galactics the hell off of its planet. Terra wants them out of our solar system, and so does every other celestial body in our solar system that is inhabited. That's why we fought those battles over a year and a half ago, ending somewhere near around about a year and a half ago. We pushed the negative galactics out of the solar system, the twin sun solar system, not just our part of the solar system. Hear me well. We pushed them out. And we have slowly but surely, now we're rounding up the individual galactics that are on the surface because they can imitate or look like a human. Now they're looking for those. How are they looking for those? Drones. They don't call them drones, they call them ships. Manned ships or unmanned ships, doesn't matter. If these are Terran ships or drones or whatever you want to call them, if they get fired on, whoever does that firing will be option one. That was passed Wednesday this week. It doesn't matter if it's an individual with a rifle. It doesn't matter if it's a group of individuals saying they're defending their home or their property. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's the government sending up fighter jets and shit. If they fire, they will be fired back upon and there won't be nothing left. You won't even know they disappeared. That's what an option one does, because there's nothing left. And they've been option one and shit even before Wednesday. It's coming, and it's coming harshly. And Terran law, if they find you guilty, you don't even get to say a word, not one single fucking word in your defense, because they don't want to hear it. They already know. If a Terran walked by you on the street, you would just be lottie-dying down the goddamn street, and a Terran walked by you, he would know if you're negative or positive before you ever knew he was anywhere around. They can see it, some of them, in your body. They can see the negativity as a darkness, or they can feel it with their mind. And if they open their mind to yours, you're dead. You're dead. You'll be falling down dead. You won't be option one, but you'll be dead. That's the thing. That's why they have to do something about the civilization on the surface. That's why negatives have to go. It's not about, but there's so many of us. It's nothing to do with that. We should never have gotten this way. We are ancestors of, we are descendants of original humans. How in the fuck did we get like we are? And a fucking knocky, that's how. And when they were forced off the planet, mostly by the Draconian Sicars, the Draconian Sicars were mostly forced off the planet by the Greys. And they've all been defeated. And not by galactic forces, like some popular people say. Their stories don't add up. Their stories don't pan out when they tell you, oh, by the end of such and such year, we're going to have med bads, or we're going to have the good guys in charge. That's not the Terran way. The Terran way means these people are gone. You don't have somebody that wants to be political taking charge of a government. If you're wanting negativity and the negative organizations on this planet, on the surface, gone, those things are not acceptable. How do you know they're not acceptable? Organizations and governments are not authorized by the Council of Terra before me or while I've been here. They're not authorized. That means they're going. If they have to go down, as in deceased, what do I care at this point? What do I care? Why would I want to allow, as the council leader of Terra presently, why in the fuck would I want to allow any of you negative sumbitches in the world to remain when I know we can bring Inner Terra civilization to the surface, and any of you that remain will at that point be positive enough, hopefully, that we can call you as representative on the Council of Terra. Because right now you're not represented, you're ostracized. You wouldn't know jack shit about Inner Terra if I hadn't told you. For 3 long years, I've been working on this very one simple goal. A little over 2 years ago, I went online with it. After I had already met Hermes, who is now a grandfather. Y'all don't understand the depth of depravity we have sunk into. And some of us think we're positive, and some of us think we're negative. But mostly we're not either one. And we never should have been either one. And that is what something's going to be done about. Something's going to be done about it. And you don't have a choice. Nor should you have a choice. It's taken me 3 lifetimes to come to this understanding of why it's got to happen the way it's got to happen. I would not want to go through this shit from a basic human with my first of life history for anything in the world. But I wasn't given the choice. The things that happened to me in my youth up till 1997 or so were not my choice. I have put a lot of that in videos, but then again, I deleted a lot of videos. Some of it you can find on those early ones that I left remaining, those QHT sessions that I put up, where I start having full remembrance again, what I didn't already have. Do y'all know that right now, I know that I have had 16,071 past lives. And I know all of them in detail, but one. 16,071 past lives. And I know all of them but one, down to the one where I was an aquatic. Now, that one is shaky. I don't have much about that one. Also, I know only 2 of my lifetimes have I been a surface human. 2 out of all of those have I been a surface human. The one before this one, I was a surface human, and this one. My past life as a surface human, I died at a young age. I couldn't bear my what I was supposed to go through that in that lifetime, I now know from my higher self that I could not have stood that as the person that was in that incarnation. I don't know how to explain that to y'all anymore right now. I mean, I could give out this long story, but you may or may not understand it. But somehow my body could not withstand what it was going through as a human for the first time, a surface human for the first time. I couldn't withstand it, and I succumbed to it, and I died. And I wasn't even 30 years old in that incarnation. And in this incarnation, oh, fuck, I could talk for hours. I met my first Inner Terra when I was 7 years old. Yes, Trish, but that's going to change as well. That's going to change. You will remember your past lives eventually. If these comes things, if getting sore again, that pill must be wearing off. If these things come to pass, and we start accessing I said the other day something about our abilities start blooming again from the bud that you are born with. The abilities of your personal body in this incarnation starts to bloom. One of the first things you're going to get is memories. And then slowly but surely you'll get other abilities awakening. And don't misuse them. There is one specifically on contacting another being without permission, like mentally. There is a specific law. I think it's law 2. Is it law 2? Oh, shit, I'm getting crazy. I can't think right now. Oh. One of the laws has to do with contacting another being mentally. It's a mental ability, like how I communicate with people from Inner Terra right now. It's not telepathy exactly, it's a mental connection. We can exchange images. Some people can send me like a video, like sometimes with sound, even if they're advanced enough and they are high powered of this ability. I can get images and pictures, and sometimes the images have sounds of what's around the surroundings that I'm looking at in the image. Sometimes you hear the sounds. Yes, of course it is. And everybody has this ability, but you have to want to fight the negativity in yourself. If you have no sign of that, that is known as well. When somebody, I don't want to say we are going to be judged, but sooner or later, if you get through the collapse, of the civilization, okay, you're going to be asked, if you're asked, you're going to be asked, will you participate? That's been told to me. You're going to have to answer that question. Will you participate, yes or no? They're not going to give you time to think about it. They will expect an answer with the question. If you have to think about it, they already know your answer. They already know you before they ask you. Because they're not going to ask a lot of people. If you get asked by any method whatsoever, will you participate with Inner Terra and Terra whether it's a single unit or as Terra as a whole, however you are asked, if you hesitate in saying yes, imagine you cease to exist. I'm just imagining you're going to cease to exist. You can interpret that any way you feel like. You could cease to exist by going home and shutting your door because you're not going to get participate in the society. You won't get any help, any benefit, any health care, any goddamn thing at all from Terra. If you say you don't know, or no answer at all, and then if you blurt out yes because you're wondering, because you don't know to say yes, if you're not negative, because if you're positive, you probably won't still be here by the time you get asked. If you're negative, you won't be asked by that time. Did I say that? Okay. You won't be asked. If you are asked, it shouldn't take you any time at all to say, yes, I want this. Why would you not want this? Are you a rational, sane being? Then you would want this. Who would not want to advance? Who would not want to gain perfect health? Who would not want the education to have a duty and responsibility they can do for the rest of their life until they decide they can't do it anymore? And by that, I mean, after you've done it and done it well and you want to grow, you want to do something else, you want to learn something more, they teach you the other something. You can change your job, if that's what you want to call it, but they don't call it that. They call it duty. You have a duty to your family that has priority over everything. You have a duty and responsibility to family. And if that's going okay, you have your duty, your job, and your responsibility to society. If you do those things, and that's an if, as a surface human, it's going to be a big if. If you do those things, you have what you need. You're going to have a home. You're going to have all the food you need. You're going to have access of some things. Keep it and take care of it. Take care of your home because it's required. Not that you'll have to worry about that much, but it's required. I mean, I don't truly understand why that is required if they're building it, but if I can understand it if you're living in a surface human home or dwelling of some such in the future when it goes bad, if they haven't already tore it down for some reason, they would have built you a new one. But that's going to come later, not while they're cleaning and restoration of the energy grid. They're not going to do it at that time because the priority is the energy grid. They can't build new homes when they don't have the energy grid because they don't build like we do. What they build will be here for a very long time. It's not a question of, what about our nuclear plants and blah, 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 and all that shit? They'll be gone. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But you may lose power. You must be prepared somehow. Maybe go back to the days before we had power on the surface where you have to draw your water from somewhere. Maybe you have to make a candle to have light at night. That's a very good thing to learn how to do, is make candles. Because I am fairly sure we're looking at months to years before their society is walking on the ground with you and it becomes a common sight. I think we're looking at months to years. But I'm not saying that it's going to take you that long to get some kind of help. What that kind will be is not determined yet, as far as I know. I have to say that, as far as I know, that has not been determined as to how and when, etc., because it's not high on their priority list. It's just not. And that's why you have to prepare. Eventually, there'll be health care. Eventually, there'll be food. We'll have to grow food, but we'll have some food too. Because they're producing it, and in the works of all these, there is now 4 kinds of plant food that will replace meat, because you can't hunt and fish anymore when Terra comes to the surface. That's gone. You don't know if something is an intelligent species or not on the surface of Terra. You don't know. Doesn't that make a problem? When you, especially some cultures on this planet, eat about anything that lives, moves, or crawls on this planet? Anything? I'm not going to say no more about that, but there you go. Now you know. But you have to survive the suffering time of the collapse. That is the most important thing right now for you to know. When these governments collapse, and it may or may not be all at once, like in a day, boom, they're all gone. It may not be like that. I'm not going to say how it is, because they have the plan, and I don't. It's not like I have their plan sitting here on my computer screens, any one of them out of 4. I don't have the plan, but I know bits and pieces about the plan. And I know the first, if you put it into some kind of like an outline form, the way they have it, that it's been told to me, if you put it into some kind of bullet form, the first one is the civilization on the surface must collapse. That would probably be bullet 1. I don't know how far down to tell you is the next one that says anything about a surface human. I don't know how to tell you how far down that is. And I'm not saying it's at the bottom of a page or something. I don't know. Is it 20? Is it 15? Is it 12 things? I just know they have things that have priorities that do not involve us in the integration or reintegration. Reintegration is, I don't know why I say integrate, it's reintegration of the surface of Terra. What you need to remember is that you are a descendant of an original human who was 5D and undefeatable by the Anunnaki prior to 14,024 years ago. By our count, their count is different. They count everything different than we do. They go by solar years. Even down there, they know the solar year because they observed the surface and always have. They always have. When we put up satellites and started communication, they were already tied into that, and I didn't know it until, like, I didn't know how far back they were tied in. I mean, I knew a year ago that they were tied in, but if they take control, they can't give it back to anybody. Once they take it, they're going to keep it, which means nobody can shut it down on the surface either. But they will shut down military. They will shut down the military satellites. Now, you got to remember where the internet comes from. So how does that work? What are they going to do about that? I don't know. I don't have the answer. I know it's a question. All communications that we know of that exist right now stem from military usage. Even the phones had to have government control on them before they would allow them to expand across the country. So even your cell phones, using the frequency they use to transmit upon from one to the other, or connect to a tower or a cell phone tower or a satellite even, have to have government permission for the time being. Could they cut that out before Terra gets a hold? They might could. I would suspect they would try to do it if they knew they're going to cut off the energy grid. I imagine that they're going to try to cut off the internet and everything else. Is it in that plan for, is it part of their plan to take care of that as well? I can't answer that question. I don't know the answer to that question. If I did, I would tell you. I don't know the answer. It depends on when all these things happen, but they are already begun. That's why you're hearing about so many drones on the surface. In all countries, a lot of the countries have seen these drones, these large drones. Remember back, if you've been on my channel for very long, remember back over a year and a half, 2 years ago, what was I talking about with, here's the word, shuttles. Shuttles being converted to haul people. My personal shuttle and how it was adapted the way I wanted it to be able to haul some people and have gear in it as well. A storage area if I needed to haul some devices, as in communication devices, as in education devices, because they're not the same things. Remember all that? If you were here before, remember all that? These drones that everybody's talking about and how big they are, they're the size of a small bus, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? Shuttle. Inner Terran shuttles on the surface, gathering information. Ta-dam. There you go. Of course, I've been saying that for days now. They're Inner Terran. They're Inner Terran. Now you know if you've been here in my channel for very long, you remember what shuttles were and what I thought we could do with them. They're already using them upstairs on the surface now. If they are this kind of size, and you can tell they're this kind of size, people are reporting they're that kind of size. Those are, I bet you, they're the shuttles of Inner Terra. Because I know they're already up. They're already doing things that we don't understand, but they've got their reasons. The only thing I know of that you do not do is fire upon them shuttles, because they can fire back, and they will. And they're authorized to fire back from an individual up to the military. That was taken care of Wednesday, because evidently somebody fired upon one and they questioned it. What should they do? Now the answer has been given. I don't care what you do. If you don't do the right thing, that's your choice. Don't do what I'm telling you to do is your choice as well. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you to make a choice. There you go, Trish. Now you know. I've been telling everybody they were terroring for what, a week? Over a week? Hell, I don't know. I don't think I took it on my channel till like in the last week or so. I can't remember the date right now. I'm kind of hurting because I had a tooth took out the other day and my medicine's done expired, my pain pill. And that back molar took out. It was a motherfucker. But if I had been able to go to Terra, they wouldn't have had to take my molar out. They would have healed that molar and restored it back to perfect condition. They think it's horrible that we have to have teeth removed or replaced or whatever. They think it's horrible that I have metal knees and metal in my back. That's a nightmare to them. They would never do such a thing. And at worst case, you'd regrow a whole leg. They can do that. I think our government has that ability as well. But do you see about it and hear about it? No. Why? Pharmaceutical medical industry needs your money. If they healed you, where would they get their money? Negativity, it will be gone. You'll have doctors and nurses, but they'll have to be retrained enough to where they can run Terra and equipment one day. Go with what you think, Trish. You know enough from what I've talked about a little over 2 years now, I guess. You should know what's happening. Especially after tonight, you should know what's happening. Governments are getting weak, they're falling, they're collapsing, they're getting desperate. And they're going to do desperate things. And a thing to try to keep order and maintain some sort of control over you while they collapse. Because if not, while you're still able now, you might well take off and go get these people. And who would blame you? I wouldn't blame you. I would even find that negative. Justice must be served. How and why is a different thing. Or sometimes it might go together depending on what it is. It's not a laughing matter, but when our government has gotten as negative as it is, the people involved in that government and supporting that government and et cetera and et cetera and et cetera, this ever expanding ripple of negativity must be destroyed. I don't care how they do it. I don't care those that have to eventually cross over or expire or wait their time. I'm concerned about these people. I used to be. Oh, I used to be. But no more. Because if we have to allow negativity and people getting killed by the governments on the surface of this planet, for quite some time, I have been of a mind that, okay, because it's time to end it. It's been time to end it. It was time before they ever contacted me. It was time. That's my opinion right now. It's always been time. I have even fussed at some elder, if you know who I can talk about when I say elders in the Inner Terra, ancient beings. Some of them saw the destruction of Maldek and lived before that on this planet. So you know I'm talking 2 million years old. These people still existing. Maybe as a grandmother or grandfather, they're still existing. I have talked to them. Why wasn't something done? And they've quietly told me why recently. Because I've just met another being that is that old, that kind of age recently. Don't consent to anything related to the negativity of this planet. Not the government, not your local government, not anything corporate. If you have to go out and buy something, be sure it is of a lasting value. And I'm talking years. If you don't think it's going to last you years and does something for you in the years to come, you might as well not waste your time and effort and the money participation in the society until the such time as it is no longer functioning. Do what you can do with the future in mind, not the present. Hey, Nonsense, I was wondering where you were from. I just ain't asked you yet. I was going to give you time to get comfortable in here, but I see you are now. Cool. Cool. I figured it. I can read typo well. Sometimes I do typos. Yes. No, not physical. Grandmother locked me come. It was sometime last week or earlier. She told me Hermes was in limbo, and she knew that I could help. And I'm like, first of all, I don't know Hermes is in limbo. Why didn't somebody let me know? She said, no, nobody knew but her at that time. Hermes was in limbo. She told me I could help. And then she told me nobody has helped a human of any kind cross up in over 20,000 years. You know me, I had to him haul around about it because I don't know nothing about it. I didn't have nothing click open about it when she first started talking. I got it all on video, I think. Anyway, whatever the video was, I can't remember. I can't remember what day it was right now. But she kept talking to me and telling me that I could do it through my abilities and that I had that ability because I was council leader. And as soon as she said I had the ability because of council leader, I had some clicks from Drishun and Meishun. Every council leader that's ever been, and you know the times I'm talking about, every council leader that's ever been has the ability to help a being that has the opportunity, because not everybody does, the beings that have that opportunity can be assisted if they can't do it by themselves. I never heard of that before. Grandmother Lockma told me. I'd never heard it. Of course, she was trained to be a council leader. I was not. But she doesn't have what I have. But she's a grandmother. And this is what she told me. She's told me more since then that I haven't even put on video. Things she's told me when I'm offline or sitting outside, or we've been having some long conversations between her and me and a few others, and Grandmother per se and a few others. They're talking to me a lot now. Things I don't know, things I'm going to need to know, things I didn't know I could do that I'm going to have to do in the future. So much. Well, thank you then, my nonsense, for what they did on Newfoundland, Canadian Newfoundland. Yeah, Trish, I think if you haven't watched all the videos, there may be a good bit that you haven't. You said something about that the other day. If you haven't watched them all and gotten caught up, you may be missing a lot. I'm getting more information now about Inner Terra and things I didn't know that I didn't know before 10 months ago. Shit, it was 24 here the other morning, Fahrenheit 24. So it was below freezing. That's fucking cold from our area. When it's below freezing here, anytime is It used to be a record when it got 32, but it's not no more. Now we see 20s, and sometimes we see the teens. When I was young, you could go with short pants and a t-shirt all year long. Can't do that no more. I don't think I owned a coat till I was 20 years old. I didn't need one. Never needed one. But it ain't so no more. And people say the climate ain't changing. What the fuck are you talking about? The climate ain't changing. Kids when my age, when I was young, didn't have to wear coats or gloves. It was December, we'd be in short pants and maybe barefooted because we didn't have fire ants either. Damn the person that created fire ants. I don't care who that was. I hope they serve some purpose I don't know about. Because if it was up to me, I'd say make fire ants extinct. But it's not up to me. I may be. I don't know. I still have a lot of questions about my own past. But that's neither here nor there at this point. That's some things I think on. I actually like answering questions because I'm supposed to be doing videos and getting information out. And if you don't know something and you're watching these videos, I need you to ask the questions because maybe I didn't cover it. Maybe I know it and just haven't covered it as something important enough to say, oh God, the information I'm getting. And information that's unlocked from Drishun that I don't even know what it means yet. I have seen things that I don't know whether it means. Is it past or is it future? I don't know. We used to never go below that, Trish, but we do now. We used to never see 32. I remember when 100 degrees would be on the signs as record heat. Now we've seen 107 and 112. What the fuck? But we also see as low as 17 has been the lowest I've seen here in the last 5 years. 17 degrees Fahrenheit. What the fuck? What's such a big range of temperatures where I live? It's not right. It's not right. I think it's government controlled and related. I know the pole is moving. I was told the other day where it's going to move to. What the fuck? But that's what they told me. I was told where it's going to move to. Because I was told where it's been. And it's moving back to where it was. That is not connected to anything to do with the surface humans. Or any other human for that matter. Or that's something that Terra has to go through as a cycle. So it's nothing nobody can do about it. It just happens. It's one of those things of life, life of the planet. Cycles. Everything comes back again sooner or later. What we're trying to do is erase a 450,000-year-old mistake. And we will do it. I'm thinking we're going to do it in the lifetime of everybody that's on the surface now. And you could never say that in the past. People will claim that, but it doesn't happen. I'm telling you now, on the 14th of December in 24, if you're alive now, you're going to see this entire planet change and experience the next one. What I've been calling the new world. Some people say new world and think they're actually going to another world. What the fuck? You ain't going nowhere. And you're surely not going nowhere as a negative. That's not going to be allowed. You're not going nowhere. You're not going to jump this planet and go to another one because you fucked up this one on the surface. That's not going to be allowed to happen either. You'll figure it out soon enough. We want to go to Mars, or we want to go to some planet in some other solar system. You ain't going no damn where. Not even the space program is going any fucking where anymore. That's been declared by the Solar System Council. Surface humans of Terra with their space programs aren't even going to another planet inside our solar system. Not anymore. The negatives on those planets that have infiltrated certain planets in our solar system, I was told, are being eradicated. Like a vermin, like a disease. Ships and all. They don't want them with their galactic technology, which is inferior, by the way. Ain't that a kicker? Ain't that a kicker? They think it's some kind of secret technology to hide from us, and the entire solar system is saying, you dumb shits are inferior technology. They can take out their entire ship like they ever even shot at anybody. Even the Galactics had trouble dealing with us, and therefore they determined they better stop being negative and join the Terrans outside their solar system borders. Remember all that? You remember? I deleted it. Do you remember? Damn it. Why did I delete over 700 videos with a case of the ass that I can get? That was a dumb move. Dumb. But I was so pissed off. I'll admit it. I done the wrong thing. I made a mistake. A big one. A costly one. When I deleted what GAA? What? I don't know what that is. GAA. GAA. What is what, Trish? GAA. Because I don't know what that is. Anyway, so I deleted like 700, I think it was 738 videos I deleted in about 3 days. Oh, I was getting it too. I don't want to be a part of this shit no more. I was taking everything down, left, right. I mean, just everything. All those videos that people need to see now, gone. Inner Terra has them. But Inner Terra is taking my videos that I put out, all this information that I put out. They are reorganizing it and putting it in a chronological fashion so people can sort through it in the future. I have no part of that. I had no say in it. They started it in my absence 10 months ago. They were already pulling my information off the internet through the satellite system. But now, I don't know nothing about them. But if they're here or somewhere near, they're probably going to be destroyed if they're not already. I don't know nothing about them. Never heard about them. That's a new one for me. Probably some made up story bullshit. You know, no galactics could have came into our solar system over a year ago, Trish. You know, I never found no Federation of World ships upstairs with our ships. We never found no Galactic Federation of Light upstairs. The Arcturian Council was outside our borders, and I wouldn't even talk to them. I know nothing about a Pleiadian Commander Ashtar. I know nothing about a Pleiadian Federation of what the fuck ever from wherever. No, I got a few videos still. I got the one that we supposedly took out in Leo's ship and Inky's ship and a few others. But I deleted 738 videos in a raging piss off of about 4 days. 3 to 4 days, they were gone. I still got some on my hard drive that I made at home and uploaded. I still have those on the hard drive, a separate hard drive. But I don't know if I want to re-upload them. Not at this time. Maybe sometime in the future I might. I need some kind of verify the day somehow on every one of them if I'm going to re-upload them. So somebody can see that they're an old video that I'm re-uploading and from when it was. So I have some backups, but I don't have it all. If you remember, a lot of it was online and a lot of it was live and a lot of it was anywhere from 3 to 8 hours of videos. And some of them was a 3 video, and then later that day I'd have another 3-hour video, and hell, I might even have a 4-hour one even later than that. Different times of the day, different hours of videos I would do depending on whatever was going on. I don't know anything about it, Trish. Not a peep has come my way out of it. I don't talk to everybody. I don't read on the net a whole lot. I don't even have myself as a member of any of these groups anymore in forums and Facebook sites I used to go to. I got away from everything. I don't want a part of it. I'm sick of all the lies. I'm just sick of the lies. I don't even want to read their shit. What do I care if it's part of our military or any other military on this planet? Terra doesn't even call their stuff military. It's Terran Defense Forces, and that is it. Or defenses of Terra. We do have a defense force of Terra now that used to be called the Guardsmen. Over a year ago or so, they were called the Guardsmen of the Council. Those are called Defense Forces of Terra now. And it's not surprising no more, really. But isn't it kind of odd that the warriors on the surface that fight all these negative, unjust wars are not able to become part of the defense forces of Terra and never will be? You never will. If you're watching this video and you're in the military on the surface today, you'll never be a part of the Terran Defense Forces. It'll never happen. And you can bet your life on that shit. I know nothing about it and don't care to. Probably fake. It's probably just another negative thing. I wouldn't call anything galactic right now would be in the favor of a Terran that found out about it. But nobody's even told me about it. So I got nothing to do with it. I don't know. I don't want to know. It's just another part of negative surface. Why would I want to know about it? Unless I'm going to send somebody out to take care of an office or something. And those times are coming, I've been told. There are some things they're going to do in steps, and I'll be notified of some things. But I don't go online and read a whole bunch of shit from all these shit people. Sometimes I can just look at a person's name even if it's a fake name. And I'm like, nuh-uh, nuh-uh. I can do that now. I couldn't have done that months ago. Now I just look at a name and think about a person that would use a name like this, and I start seeing shades, colors. And if it's too dark, I don't want to do with them. I don't want to read their shit. I don't want to hear their voice. Nothing. I don't know if that's some new thing. I haven't even asked Lockman about that yet. But I've been doing that for a few months now, and I think it's part of my ability, but I'm not sure. I can just think of a name and think of the person behind this name or that thing, and I'll get a sense of okay or not okay. Not okay would be leaning towards negative, I guess. And so I don't even look at it anymore. I'm done. I click off. I go somewhere else and find something else to look at if I have time. I don't have a lot of time anymore because it seems like I'm always in some kind of conversation, either with the wife. Well, hell, that's negative right off the bat. He's not even human. I know for a fact Elon Musk is not human. He's one of those that passes for human. But if you can see, I so want to go and do some things that I know, but I have been somewhat restrained by those that recalled me. I don't want to get too far in like I did last time and start spiraling like I did. I'm not going in that far. And there's a lot I can do without going that involved and getting overloaded. Like information overload and like empathy overload. I have to avoid that shit now. And I'm supposed to be coming back as a limited council leader, and with two other council leaders. And so, no, you're right. There should not, and they will not. There is no wealth creation and power creation in-house Terra functions. Surface humans can forget that shit now. You either live well or you don't. If you're not living well, it's because you're not a part of the Terran society. When that comes to the surface, if you're not part of the Terran society, you're either going to be gone or you're on your way to being gone. It's kind of that simple, really. If you're so bad, if you're that kind of bad, they're going to take it out. It's like I take out the trash, option one. But if you're not wanting to be a part of all this because of whatever reason, if it comes down to it and you get asked and you say, no, I'm not going to learn anything, I'm not going to participate, that's fine. Go home, lock your door, and stay there. Because if you go out and about and you don't participate and you violate the laws of Terra, you're not going to be here anyway. You get it? And the surface would violate the laws of Terra so damn fast and make your head slam. They just will. You can get the laws of Terra and download it on your phone, print it on one sheet of paper, and post it in your home for everybody to see. Because that's how it's going to be. And there is no questions. They don't let you have a comment. If they got a question and say you're violating the laws of Terra, you're not even going to get questioned anything. It's going to pass through the council until it passes high enough. In a future date, that might change a little bit because there's going to be so many that have to be considered. I feel like there'll be so many. I can't say for sure because I don't know. I don't know if I want to know. The point is, it is on each individual to make their choices and do what they can right now. If you want to be around for the future of this planet, you cannot be as you have been being in the past. This is that simple. No, but they can still be negative when the finance collapses. They can start preying upon others that have. If they're prepared and they have not, and they go to somebody that's prepared and try to take their stuff for themselves, that's negative. Eventually, it's going to catch up with you. And when it catches up with you, it won't nobody give a damn by that time that you will become no more. You did that to yourself with your choices, and won't nobody give a damn what your reasoning is. And if you harm somebody, if it comes to me to make the decision in the end as a council leader for the surface that you have known, when it comes time that I know everybody on the surface has known, and you commit a crime of terror as a surface human, I will give you no consideration than I would anybody else. And y'all have seen how I have dealt with those of Inner Terra that violate Terran law. As soon as I can get down there, right now the Council of Terra is the only way somebody can be option one. But that is going to have to change when the surface becomes part of Terra. There's going to be too many places and no way to get everybody there that violates the laws of Terra. You can imagine if somebody makes it to me and I'm told they violated the laws of Terra, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to hear it. Go deal with them. It doesn't even have to go for a vote on the council because I know if there's somebody on the surface that's negative, they will violate that law of Terra probably the very first fucking day. I just know it. I know the people of the surface. If I look at you and I decide you're negative, I'll tell you so. I've started that like a week ago. When I go to town, if you're negative and I see that darkness about you, I tell you you're a negative. I haven't said that in video either, but some people in my local town will tell you that. There comes Larry, watch out. He's going to tell you you're negative or not. I've heard people say that. I've heard people say that. There was a man raising hell at a woman just last week when I went to town. I walked over to where they were and I looked at her, making faces just like she was going to bust in crying or something. And I looked at him and I gave him a look, like up and down. I did. I took a moment and made sure he saw that I was looking at him up and down. And when I came back up to his face, he was looking at me and I said, "Sir, you are a negative individual. You're on limited time." And I walked off. There was a situation 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, an individual decided to call me on my phone. This individual said, "I wish you would stop making your Terran videos." I said, "Please keep talking and tell me what you think." I sat back, and I'm going to admit this now on video. I sat back and I travel viewed while I listened to him on the speaker of my phone to hone in on his voice and where he was. Trish, do you remember what happened to the 7 individuals in the Council of Terra? I gave them intense pain. I gave this individual intense pain. And I watched him, a surface human, boil over and fall out of his chair. Boil over as in he curled up and fell out of his chair in pain. I'm not proud of it, but it's an ability I have. And if I see a situation that I need to use it, I said I never would. I have changed my fucking mind. Bring me your problems. Piss me off. I will show you something you've never believed. I'm not afraid to say it anymore. I'm just not afraid to tell a negative you're negative. I'm not afraid to tell a negative your days are numbered. I'm not afraid to tell a negative the world is collapsing, and when it is and when it's done, you will be gone. It may be quick or it may be slow and painful, but you will be gone all the same. And I'm not hesitant to say that. What I say concerning terror does not apply to any surface law. What I say is coming to you will not apply to any surface government for assistance. Help me. It's going to be useless. They are useless now. They think they have power, but they have nothing. They can act, but it has no meaning because it's not lasting. And I mean that in the deepest sense of those words. Anything they decide now is meaningless. It doesn't matter what they enact. It doesn't matter what they plan. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they do. They don't matter anymore. Yes, they can inflict pain and suffering and death, but they're just going to pay for that all at once faster than any other surface human will. This includes the military and the members of this military. In every country on the surface of this planet is coming for you. It's coming for you, and there's nothing you can do about it. If I cease to exist tonight, this is still coming for you. You have no choice. Keep fighting your useless wars, killing innocent people. It ensures that you will be the first to go. I don't care what country you're from. I don't care if you're serving your country. I don't care if you have a country. It doesn't matter. Your days are numbered. Forget growing old if you're not already old, if you're negative, because you will not. How's that? The people and the planet are not going to allow you to exist for very long. Some people, that may be longer than others. And I just told you why, because it's the level of your negativity that's going to get you first. and it's going to work its way down. I personally have already told the council and the committee that is on the integration, the plans for the integration or reintegration. I keep saying integration, the reintegration of the surface. I have already told that committee I do not mind whatsoever if they blink an entire government building complex. I don't care who's there. I don't care what notice is given. I don't care if there's even given a notice. They seem to think there should be a notice of kind so the lesser negatives can run. I said, that's only going to let the more negatives know as well. The negative is a negative, therefore inconsequential. And that's the word I'm using on that now. A negative is inconsequential to the health and well-being of the people of this planet. I don't care who they are. I don't care where they are. They will be found eventually. Whether they're found alive or dead, I don't care. They will be found. That's just how it's going to be. The negative on this planet should never have been here. We should never have been mutated by the radiation of wars from a galactic, or even galactics fighting each other on this planet. Should never have happened. And as far as I'm concerned, that has not been paid in full. So if you have a galactic relationship with something or somebody or something in your mind or something, you should expel that. I'm serious. And you so-called popular people and your followers, you cannot expel it from my memory. You cannot. I have faces, I have names that go back my entire lifetime. If I have deemed you a negative, you won't survive. If I have looked at you in the face and called you a negative, you are not going to survive. Trust me. That can sound cold, it can sound harsh, but the fact is, it's the facts. I don't have to lift a finger. I don't have to look at you. I don't have to think about travel viewing to you and giving you some kind of pain. The world is changing, and some of you cannot change with it. You cannot. And if you're not that negative and you can change, you better start working on it. I've been saying that for years. Be positive. Years. If you haven't listened, it may be too late for you. I do not know. I don't know if you got time to change. But if I was you, I would be trying. I would be trying if I was you. Damn, this video is 2 hours and counting already. And I am hurting like a motherfucker. Can talking make a tooth hurt more when you take it out? A spot? This is the longest video I've made since I had my tooth out. Making me see funny. I think it was going into an abscess. I really do. I think it was going into an abscess tooth. I caught it before I got the pain. But I already had something going on up in here down to this tooth. Wow. And because I live on the surface, I had to have it pulled. Lockman knew about it and got in touch with me as soon as I could get through my medication, the pain med that they gave me for it, and the numbing effects and everything. I couldn't communicate with anybody. when she could communicate with me. She said, that's horrible. That is a horror to Inner Terrans to think about having a tooth pulled. To think about you having to have a physical operation to heal something is a horror to them. And we do it to each other every day on the surface. Somebody every day has to have a tooth removed or a bone surgery or some other kind of surgery where your body is cut open and they go inside you and they work upon you. That is the rarest of things in the medical of Inner Terra, is to have to do surgery on you. Y'all need to think about that and what that means for surface humans, how it has added to our surface human species traumatized by how we live our life. Look at all the people in the planet that claim anxiety and depression and they can't live it and they'd rather have suicide. Those are horrors for Inner Terra. They say that's a being that doesn't need to exist. I say that there are some that will, because not everyone is negative. Not everyone is so negative that they need to be forced to not exist. Oh yeah, it's 9:30 p.m. my time. I am at bedtime already. I should have already taken my night meds. I can't do what I used to do. I used to be up half the night doing videos and talking. That's not going to happen anymore. There was one of the roots of that bone that went up into my sinuses. I could breathe through my mouth up into my sinus when she did that removal. I never felt anything like it. I hope I never do again. Trish, have you caught one of the videos where they are building a building? The Terra never builds buildings anymore. They are building a building behind the council chambers for the council leaders to live in. Have you caught that yet? I think, and that's the first time. The 10 months I was gone, they had Grandmother Lotma and Grandmother Per Se as co-leaders of the council chambers in my absence. When they recalled me back at the end of my 10 months, okay, I asked them to stay on as co-leaders, assist me every way they can, when they can. And they both said yes. So now, for the first time in Terran history, we have a council leader and two co-leaders that can act, either one of them, in my stead if I am not in Inner Terra. They may contact me and ask me if they are indecisive, but they don't have to. You see, I have given them my complete trust to make decisions in my absence, so I don't have to be weighed so down that I damn near can't take it anymore. Yes, good, Trish. Thank you. I welcome it. I had so many hats in the fire last time, or hands in the fire, irons in the fire, whatever you want to call it, wearing 3 or 4 different hats of duties and responsibilities. I just couldn't fucking handle it anymore. That was what it really boiled down to. It didn't matter that the few that were working against Terra reintegrating the surface. That's what that was with Berrigar and them. who were all given an option one. Most of them, after I had done, said, I can't do this no more. And I thought I was walking away. If I'd known I was going to be recalled, I doubt I would have ever deleted 738 videos off of my YouTube. I wouldn't have done it. But I didn't know. I was in such a rage of anger and hurt and spiraling down. Did y'all know how that turned out? I ended up going off of many websites, deleting videos, going off of many websites that I was there mostly just to watch other people. I wanted to see their replies and their answers and I wanted to see what they had to say. Here I am 10 months later. Hopefully I'm older. I'm wiser, I hope. I have a little bit more control than I had then. I do. I have sought and gotten assistance from a various number of people, both surface and Inner Terra. I have gotten some people from the fourth level, the atmosphere, the fourth level of Terra. Some of whom you people think are myths and legends, they are real. They're in our atmosphere. That there is 4 levels of Terra. You have the surface. You have the subsurface, which includes the oceans. And you have Inner Terra. And you have the atmosphere, the above. And everything above the atmosphere, you figured it, space, the solar system, the boundary of the solar system, and the galactics, who now are not all totally negative anymore. I'm getting used to that still. But they're still not allowed inside the solar system. The boundary still works. The boundary is still functional. And they are not allowed in even for trade purposes. That's how other organizations more than likely do not exist. And the chances of a Terran ship going upstairs is highly unlikely. The other planets and celestial bodies and colonies on asteroids and such shit will attack a surface human vessel upstairs. They do not return. Which is why you don't hear much about the space program in the United States. You know why? Because when you go up there, you get your ass killed. You are considered negative from the very get-go. You are in a negative program. Deal with it. And that's been my answer for a few things recently. People have asked me, not on my videos, but on some other websites that I still go to, and I make replies, and they'll ask me a question. And I said, if it's negative base, you're going to have to deal with it. If you cease to be, you are no problem on anybody's back but your own. And I mean that shit. Don't be negative. If you can't become positive, you better get there. If you can become positive, you better get there. That could be the title of the fucking video. It ought to be. Maybe I'll edit it in. It's too long, ain't it? Shit. But Trish, this is how I know there's no galactic organization concerning Terra right now. All those things. I sit outside more often now than I ever have. I have a couple spots outside that I go sit down, sitting places that I have made for various spots to get away from the house, the internet, the dogs in the home now. Got 3 dogs now. I didn't have but 2 10 months ago. Now I got 3. One of them is a horse, or he will be a horse. He's so big. He was just a little bitty handful of a puppy when I got him, and now, boom, 6 months old, December 3rd. I could hold him in one hand when I got him. 6 months. How the hell does anything grow that big in 6 months? Blankets, the pillowcases on the floor for the other 2 dogs, they don't have pillowcases anymore. Rhonda says no. We're not putting pillowcases on the pillows for the dogs, so Bandit has chewy shreds of linen all over the house. Because he'll check it, he'll pull the pillowcase off of the pillow. They're old bed pillows is what they are. We keep them for the dogs. And he takes the pillowcase covers off and chews them to shreds. You could be talking 10, 15, 20 minutes. If he gets one that gets out of here, because they're all in here, because they like to lay in here when she's working during the day, and I'm in here on the four monitors. 4 monitors. Yeah, he's got chew toys, those Kong hard things that a dog can't tear up. This 6-month-old dog can tear up a Kong toy. Kong, Kong toy. Supposedly the hardest indestructible toy a dog can have. Shredded. I'm waiting on the day he picks up a piece of, he's already bringing rocks in that he chews up. He just chews them up. I'm waiting on the day he brings in a piece of fencing, a T-post, a metal T-post, and plays with that like a chew toy. I mean, where does this dog stop at? And don't give him a small rock. He'll crunch it up. He'll come in the house with a piece of brick that he's dug up along the side of the house when they bricked it. He'll bring a piece of brick in and chew it up. Broken bits of brick here, there, and yonder I have to sweep up. It is this fucking animal. Bear. His name is Bear, Bear. Just a little bitty handful in 6 months. He's got a head this big around. His head is now this big around. Nope, that's Bandit. Bear is this big around in the head. I could hold his whole body in one hand when he was a little puppy. Not anymore. You can't hardly pick him up. He's heavy. He's heavy for a dog. His age, 6 months. I'm thinking he might be getting close to 70 pounds already. He's not fat at all, but he is muscle. He's all muscle. He is a Rottweiler German Shepherd mix. And I'm afraid he's going to be a horse size, and he's going to be massive and strong. I can sit in a chair on wheels and hold something, and he can pull me around the house. All I have to do is hold something that he wants, and he'll pull me around the house in a desk chair. And it ain't nothing to him. He's not straining. to pull me in that desk chair around the house with my feet on the floor, I might add. I'm not holding my feet up. I'm trying to keep from being pulled. He pulls me around the house. That's how he wants attention. Why did I get this dog? When he walks up to me right now, he'll lay his head on my lap and look at me with those big black eyes of his. Just look at me like puppy dog eyes for a dog the size of a miniature horse. I wanted him when I knew what he was before I ever saw his picture. I saw his picture online and I said, "Bye-bye. We're going to go get another dog." I always wanted me a German Shepherd. But to get a German Shepherd Rottweiler mix, you don't see those much. So off I went and we got us another dog. Every now and then he's in here when I make a video and I try to get him to stand on my leg and put his head up here where y'all can see him and shit. I should tip the camera down a little bit on my laptop so when he's in here, you can see him better. He is a big dog now. And he's going to get bigger because he's only 6 months old. I don't think he's his full size yet. I ain't sure he's half size yet. I never saw his mother or his father, so I don't know how big they were. But a German Shepherd, some of the German Shepherds get very big. They're long, big, tall dogs. You know, we're used to little Chihuahua weenie dogs. This is really the first big dog I've ever had. I've never had a dog this large before. And if I don't like something and get to fussing, he is right there. When Rhonda's sitting in the living room at night and I'm here on the computer, he knows everything going on. He knows everything. He'll walk around the house looking out the windows, just walk and look and go to the next window and walk and look. If there's anything outside, boof, boof. He has such a low, deep voice. Boof. And you can hear it over the whole house when he does it. Boof. And the other two dogs are little yippy dogs, little yippy Chihuahua weenie dogs. And sometimes they just make my head throb. I can't take it, the noise. Anyway, I'm tired, y'all, and it is bedtime. It's 2 hours and 22 minutes on this video. And I appreciate y'all for being here, Trish and my 9 cents from Canada. And Trish is from South Australia somewhere. Even smiling makes me hurt right here. You smile, it hurts. Don't make me smile. I'll talk to y'all later. I hope y'all have a good evening. I hope those that watch this video learn something. And most of all, I hope you understand. I hope y'all understand what's said and what's been involved in the plannings that I have not been a part of, but that I entirely support. And it's my duty with Inner Terra as council leader bequeathed by Meishun and Drishun. It is my duty to ensure that these plans are carried out. I recommend you stay out of the way if you're a negative, because your days are already numbered. Remember that. Don't make things worse for yourself than they will be as a negative human. Right now, you are the negative species on this planet. Half of you are, most of you are, and some of you are not. And it is the sum of you that I won't hear. That I won't hear. I said that. I won't hear. I've been trying to get these positive people or people that can become positive for years to pay attention. I wish I could say I have access to everybody's phone and everybody's device, and you will get this information. But I do not. I rely on your word of mouth, and you're spreading it. And nothing I do, you have to download anything to see it, except the laws of Terra. You can get your own copies of Terra and it's the laws of Terra, and it's free off the link. Go look at it, download it, print it, whatever you want to do. What's in bold is the law. The first 5, bold is the law. Below that, you have 5 rules to help the surface of Terra reintegrate with Terra overall. You all will obey the 5 laws of Terra. That's the first law. You will obey all laws of Terra. There's only 5. And one of them is that you will obey all the laws. That's the first one they ever made. The order of them is the order they came into being, including Law 5, which I brought into being as a council leader when I said dereliction of duty. That covers lying, not doing the best of your abilities when you're at work, or whatever they want to call it, your duties. Do the best you can day by day by day. If this is what you can do today, that's acceptable. But if you go do your duties and you are not satisfactorily doing your duties and somebody has to pick up your slack, you'll pay for that. At some kind of level, you will pay for that. Maybe it'll be you don't get extra stuff. You don't get everything you need this week because you slacked off. And it was noticeable and mentionable by others that work with you. That's fair. You may not think so on surface humans, but that's fair. You slack off, why should you get what everybody gets? Why should you? See? But if you do what you're supposed to do, you have everything you need. Healthcare, medical, food. You have a home. Nobody is homeless. That's a failure of society. There's no such thing as an illegal immigrant because you're born on Terra. You can go anywhere you want to go if you can figure out how to get there. At some point in the future, you'll know how to get there. That's all I'm going to say on that. I'm supposed to be going. Good night, everybody. This is Larry, and I'm out.